Hey guys, I'm wearing my Wish shirt. You know what that means.
Wish, your wish is on my list because your wish is what I miss because your wish is on my list of the best things in life.
That's right. It is time for Your Wish is on my list. Now, if you don't know this about me, I absolutely love the discount shopping site Wish.com, only because they have some of the craziest, most ridiculous stuff ever, and they also have fishing lures. And if you've never shopped there, basically they have all this really crazy, ridiculous stuff. It's really cheap, and then when you buy it, literally, they put it on the slow boat from China, and it takes about 4 months for it to get here. So I've been collecting these lures that they sell on Wish.com, all kinds of crazy stuff you don't really see over here, like, at all. And most of them don't look like they would, like, catch fish at all, and most of the lures are very, very poor quality, but that's what makes it fun. I haven't done one of these videos in a very long time, but I have not stopped buying the lures. So every time they come, I just throw them in this bag, and let me tell you, my sack is bulging because it is filled to the brim with crazy Wish lures. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tie on a couple of these Wish.com crazy Chinese lures and see if we can catch some fish with it on Your Wish is on my list. All right, guys, proof of concept. We at least know that that thing works. But not a huge fish, but nice and stout. Look at him. And the thing is, those hooks on that lure are so bad that this thing really wasn't even hooked. Like he bit it, and it was just kind of like wedged in his mouth. I didn't actually have a hook in him. So, well, there's that. All right, let's get him back in the water. Man. You know, sometimes they'll splash you. That was actually a pretty good splash. Kudos, fish. And now it's time for Tackle Roundup. All right, guys, what I caught that fish on, this is a Wish.com lure. It was this lure, but not this lure, because, well, I'll explain to you. It's this. Look at this, like, crazy little crankbait. It's like a, there's no rattle or anything to it. Hollow bodied. It's got a little bit of a feather, like on the tail there. And it looks like a mini school of fish. It's just kind of a weird look. That's what I'm using. It's kind of this one is red. The one I was using and I caught the fish on before was blue, but I got hung up and I lost that one. So I'm not able to use that lure. So that's what I'm using. Again, I think it was about $1 on Wish, and I'm getting a little bit smarter on this because rather than just buying one lure and then fish with it for a little bit and then lose it, I buy 2 lures now, fish with a little bit and then lose it. So I lost the blue one. I'm going to try to continue trying to use this one, this little red coloration. I just thought it was kind of cool. I don't really know anything about the brand, the make, the model, or anything, but I'll do what I can to leave like a description of it, like how I found it on Wish. If I had to wager a guess, I think this might be, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 ounce, maybe. maybe 3/16 of an ounce. Really light. I don't know how deep it's supposed to dive, but I think it's diving in about the 5 to 6 foot range, somewhere in there. Again, as always with the wish.com lures, the durability of them is always that's half the fun of it. The little feather on the crankbait, it fell off both of the lures. That feather doesn't stay on there very well at all. I'm sure most people swap out hooks whenever they fish. I don't. I fish it just like it comes out of the package. So that's what I'm using. The hooks are absolute garbage. The one fish that I caught, he wasn't even stuck with. I think he just wanted the lure because he wasn't even really stuck that much. He was just kind of holding on to it with his mouth. But that's what we're using, is this little I guess medium diving crankbait. And that concludes today's tackle roundup. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm in like some rapids right now. I gotta get to an area where I can stop and take this fish off safely. Look at that fatty. Holy shnikes, look at that fat guy. Look at him. The wish.com lure strikes again. Look at him. Man, that's a nice chunky guy right there. And I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate to even get this guy in. I told you before the hook situation isn't good. As I was taking the hooks out of this guy, man, this one little fish obliterated those hooks. I mean, these things are garbage. But a fun fish to catch though. Man, I was like in that current, and man, he was fighting good in that current. But I've had him out for a while. Let's get him back in the water. Well guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for today's episode of Your Wish is on My List. Partially because it's like 90 something degrees, and mostly because I lost both of my lures. So that kind of, I only had 2 of them and I lost both of them. So it is no longer even feasible for me to continue this particular episode. But we were able to put a couple fish in the boat, a couple nice ones actually. So that was cool. So we can verify that yes, in fact, those $1 wish lures do catch fish. Now, let me give you my thoughts on those lures. I wouldn't buy them. It's generally speaking, the wish.com lures are really, really cheap, and those ones are no exception. The hooks, those were the worst hooks that I've ever even experienced. I mean, they were genuinely like terrible by even wish.com standards. So but I know most people swap out the hooks, but I think that kind of defeats the purpose of doing this kind of episode. I want to fish them as they come. And man, those were some bad hooks. I like the fact that it had the back hook had that little feather thing on it. Unfortunately, the feather only lasted for like 3 casts and then it fell off. And then yeah, the hooks were bad. I liked the actual pattern to it. The pattern was really good. I wish it had like a rattle. I know a lot of fishermen enjoy prefer the no rattle lures, but where I'm at, there's a lot of commotion out here. So I think a little bit of extra rattle would have helped out, because there were a couple times when they were chasing shad and they were busting, and I casted right in the middle of them, and I think if there was a rattle, something to draw their attention to it, I would have been able to capitalize on a couple fish that were right there and they were feeding, and I just couldn't do it. But that's how it is sometimes. You know, usually I only film these things, you know, I spend one day filming it. However, I'd actually tried very briefly to use these lures before. I'll show you how those ones went. Fish? What the heck is this? Well, that's a fish. That didn't even feel like a fish. Oh, well, that's why. Proof of concept. We at least know that the bait catches something. So yeah, I had it's been a while since I had an accidental catfish, so it figures out we get it on the wish.com lures. But anyways, that's how we went. Had a really good time out here. If you'd like to know anything about the lures, you can look down in the description box. I'm going to put some additional information down there. But while you're there, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. The channel, it is updated every week with new fishing content and new fishing adventures. So I'll be seeing you next week. This is Josh, and this is Abide Fishing.